I believe that the Honda Element was made ahead of its time. A lot of parts of this build, there's kind of like, I built it around one thing and then everything else just kind of fell together. Not only is this the living room area where I usually set up a chair and a coffee table, but this is the entrance to get into my bedroom. Up here I have a 3x3 shower awning, so it's actually a privacy ensuite. This is just the greatest car and I love it and I hope nothing ever happens to it, knock on wood, and I'm gonna be driving this for a long time. Hi, my name is Molly. This is my Honda Element. Come check it out. I bought this 2004 all-wheel drive Honda Element in 2021, just before the car market got a little crazy. So I got it for $8,000 and it only had 80,000 miles on it. I call it a grandma special. And I always wanted to travel the United States. I really just wanted to see all 48. So this was the rig that I knew was gonna get me there. And then I designed this platform all myself. I had absolutely no mechanical skills, no carpentry skills, and no electrical skills, but by building this rig, I was able to gain all of those. My concept for the build is that each side of the car is a different room. So you'll see right now I'm standing in my kitchen. Inside I have my bedroom. To the left I have my living room, and to the right I have my bathroom. So a lot of people ask me, why is your bed so high? And the reason being is I built this entire thing around the size of this fridge. It's a 35 CFX by Dometic. And you can see it slides right in and right out. We love that. These drawers are for my pantry. I also really love cooking, so you can see that that's totally full. And this is all just cooking supplies. Another thing I did to this back area is by moving my spare tire to a spare tire swing. Not only did I gain an extra space to cook on, but in addition to that, this whole space underneath is just extra storage. I typically spend one day that's set aside just for cooking and cleaning a week. And then I'll have my meals prepped and be able to, eat it on the go. A lot of parts of this build, there's kind of like, I built it around one thing and then everything else just kind of fell together. A good instance of that is actually that I left this little wide space right here for absolutely no reason. And then I realized that my Rotopax fits perfectly in there. So a lot of it is just by happenstance. I feel like I got really lucky with this build. A lot of people asked if I would like to redo my build. And honestly, if I were to rebuild it, I wouldn't change a thing except for the weight of the wood that I chose. So it would be the exact same design, just a lighter wood. All right, so my bed has just around 2 feet of clearance, and people ask me a lot, like, do I ever hit my head? And in the total of about 10 months that I've spent in this car, I've never hit my head once. I just call it my Japanese hotel, like the little airport hotels that you chill in. One part that extends this bed a lot is I have the earlier version of the Honda Element seats, which means they go forward more. So I actually have a leaflet that pops over. It's held down by magnets while I'm driving, so it doesn't make any noise. Then it pops over and 2 brackets pop up so that I can extend my bed to a full-length bed to be able to fit my mattress. This is a X-Bed Mega Mat. So it's half foam, half inflation. And this mattress, I've actually spent probably more than 600 nights on. It's never had a leak and I love it. It's one of the most important pieces to keeping me comfortable. Sometimes after a long day of driving, you want a little bit of firmness or maybe you want a little bit of softness. And by having something that's inflatable, I can change that really easily. So overall, I love my kitchen space. It's perfect just for me. And let's go ahead and move on to my living room. The big reason I wanted to do this and the big reason I chose a Honda Element for my platform is when my dad passed away, I actually got his Honda Element, and that was my first Honda Element I ever had. It's still on the road today and it's completely stock. I didn't feel like I wanted to do anything to it or modify it. I just would throw my camping gear in the back. It never even occurred to me that I could sleep inside of it until I got this Honda Element, which was an upgrade because it is all-wheel drive. So even though my dad is not here with me today, I hope that he would be really proud of all the things that I've seen. And it's almost wild when you have people that pass and you know that they didn't get to experience all the things that you get to see in front of you or even experience it vicariously through you. But I just hope that he's inside of me, through my eyes, he could be able to see all the things that I'm able to see and really, really experience the United States for all it's worth. Even though I've completed camping in the lower 48, it doesn't mean I'm done exploring it. And I'm really excited for whatever my next adventure is going to be. So welcome to my living room. You guys are currently standing underneath my 8x8 awning. I use it not only for sunshade, but also for shade from the elements. It works really well in the rain. And we had some pretty bad storms here in Washington the last week or so. And luckily it held up. Not only is this the living room area where I usually set up a chair and a coffee table, but this is the entrance to get into my bedroom. So I have this seat here from Element Driven. This works so perfect. It folds flat, so I don't have to worry about it while I'm driving. And it's made a really nice space for me to be able to sit there and watch TV on my platform, or even to sit and have a nice dinner in there too. The other thing I have on this section is my Yeti 1500X by Goal Zero, and that's what I use to power the entire car. I really wanted to separate my car's battery from the house battery, as I call it. And one thing I was able to do this year was I actually built my own fuse box off of the Goal Zero so that I could extend the capacity for it. So I have outlets not only in the kitchen, but I have one on my nightstand, and I have one on this center console that I built myself, just so that I have constant power running there and it's not going to affect my car battery. Luckily for me, there's a lot of people out there that make things specifically for the Honda Element. Element Driven is a great resource for that. And I was actually able to get this Rob Deasy rack. The thing I like about this rack the most is it doesn't sag at all. I load this up while I'm driving. It has all my sleeping gear on it, and I don't see it a lick in my rearview mirror. Some other things I was able to get to maximize my storage space was I have this MOLLE panel up here from Counterproductive, which has everything I'd like to grab and go while I am driving. And then I was also able to get this MOLLE panel on this door. I love the MOLLE system, not only because I share a name with it, but because it allows everything to be so modular. You can get them in any size, you can get them in any shape, and you can stuff them with whatever you want. So next we're going to be moving on to the room you've all been waiting for, my bathroom. Let's go ahead and check it out. So you can see it's not obviously a bathroom right now. Everything's tucked away. Some things have different uses. For instance, my foldable toilet also supports my bed. Another thing that is pretty funny as far as my bathroom stuff goes is I have a friend named Roland, and we have a little competition called the Epic Poo View. So we actually take pictures of our toilet seats in the most beautiful backgrounds we can find, constantly trying to outdo each other as far as who can have the most epic poo view. This is something that I actually added this year. I went from a Reliance container to this nice Dometic container. Hopefully I can add that USB powered water spout. I do have it, but I haven't decided the perfect place to put it yet. And then I really like the caddy system. So all my bathroom supplies are in here as far as going to the bathroom and showering, so that I could just take it and go. One of my favorite things to do is to get the 15-minute passes at state parks and just kind of utilize their stuff within 15 minutes, of course. It's also a good spot to load up on water. Everything facing forward is actually an afterthought. So these shelves were an afterthought, and this is actually how I store my clothes. It's just this stuff right here. I have another bag in my rooftop box, but that's just for clothes or swim supplies that I don't always use all the time or the weather doesn't call for. So I like to use a bag system for my clothes. So this is my dirty clothes bag in a mesh bag so it can air out, don't be nasty. And then I also have one bag of these with all my t-shirts and one with all my bottoms, and that's it as far as my clothes go, along with my shower and my shower supplies. Up here I have a 3x3 shower awning, so it's actually a privacy ensuite, and I set that up when I don't want to be seen. But you know, part of the enjoyment of being in the back country is just having a nice little shower under the moonlight, nobody can see you, and cleaning up and going to bed. One other thing that I do here to be able to utilize the space more is I've added this pocket system to create a pocket here so that I could have sanitary wipes. There's already an existing pocket here, so that's where I have my regular wipes. And then everything on this door is like the gas station grab and go. So I have my bidet, my wipes, and then a bag just to put them in real quick. All right, so that's it for my bathroom. I feel like this serves me really well, not only in the backcountry, but also to modify it to be a good roadside convenience station too. I'm able to shower in public, and I'm also able to go to the bathroom with privacy whenever I need to or whenever it's called for it. So I already had one Honda Element. Why on earth would I get two? And the truth is, I was looking for an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive platform to be able to build a camper upon. It just so happened that me searching online in the area that I was in, the only thing that really came up that was low mileage, that looked good, and had its records well kept was another silver Honda Element. So that's the platform that I went with, and it actually worked out in my favor because I'd already had one that had gone over 250,000 miles, so I know exactly what to expect as this vehicle ages. A lot of the camping gear I already had, and a lot of the tools I already had. So it's really just for materials and any Honda Element like specialty items that I got, a lot of which are from Element Driven. That's actually where I went to like first be really inspired by what the outside of my car was gonna look like and how I could add a lot more utility to the Honda Element that it has the potential for, but you have to get specialized gear for that. All right, next we're gonna move on to the driver's area where I was able to customize the color and look of the car by actually going to the junkyard and taking parts out of other Honda Elements to make it meet my needs. Plus I got some upgrades too. So this is my Honda Element from the driver's seat position. This is a Honda Element LX. What does that mean? It's the cheapest one. It came with nothing. So I added a lot of stuff to it to make it more comfortable for me. And I took the opportunity to go to junkyards, which is now my favorite hobby. And I just rip stuff off of other cars. Now, when I got this car, it came with blue interior. I don't see any blue left because I didn't like it. So I went ahead and I ripped off of a bunch of different Honda Elements to create this gray theme. And then I also was able to rip a couple pieces that were black off of black Elements. And then anything else that I wanted to change, I just hand painted. And another thing I did to customize everything is I just redid my headliner into this Serape Southwest fabric. And it really gives a lot of warmth to my car. I added this EX auxiliary socket. Originally it only had one 12 volt. So I went ahead and added a USB that now goes directly to my aftermarket stereo. In addition to that, under here, I put in a wireless charger. So there's a charger there and you can't even see it. Another thing I added was this beautiful little storage piece so that I could add a radio. I like to caravan with my friends and we're always talking on there. Another thing that I added, and that's really important for when you're driving into camp late at night, is over here I have a switch panel for my auxiliary fuse box. On the front of my car, I have mid KC daylighters. I have Baja Designs ditch lights. And then I also have a rigid fog pod to replace the OEM fogs because they just weren't bright enough for me. Okay, so the last piece is my center console that I built myself. This is actually all extra storage. The Honda Elements actually come with a lower center console, and I think it's like that so that you could pass back and forth through the car. But that wasn't something I really needed. I just wanted more storage space, and I wanted a good support for my elbow as well as more space for water bottles. So words cannot express how much I love this car and how much work I put into it either. This is just the greatest car and I love it, and I hope nothing ever happens to it, knock on wood. And I'm gonna be driving this for a long time. So all in all, I believe that the Honda Element was made ahead of its time. It was made for people that didn't quite exist yet or weren't able to afford the platform while it was in production from 2003 to 2011. It's a great utilitarian car, it's a great camper, it's a great beach vehicle, and going forward, I think that group is now able to access these vehicles because they're used. And there's such a good community as far as the Honda Element community goes, online or in person. I love going to the Honda Element meetups so I can meet the people that have inspired me, and hopefully I can inspire more people too. In addition to that, the Honda Element community online, as far as like the Facebook groups and such, are really good resources to be able to have a community that has your back. Not only do we help people, pick whether a Honda Element that they're buying used is a good platform to buy on, or if it's just past its prime. You could also look at other people's modifications and get plenty of advice for keeping this car on the road. So if you'd like to keep up with me and see what I'm doing, I run an Instagram account called @DeweyElement. That's Dewey Element. And you can also catch me every other year at Elements on the Dragon in North Carolina, and every year in the Seattle-Tacoma area for the PNW meet in August. Hope to see you out there.